Hey everyone, it's Dominic, the Primetime Treasure Hunter. Thanks for coming by to check out another video. It is 5 o'clock in the morning, Friday, September 20th. I took the day off from my regular full-time job to get some listings done, and I'm going to show you any completed sales or interesting happenings that occurred today. And then the plan is to combine that with some treasure hunting tomorrow, where we'll go up and hit up some garage sales, estate sales, that sort of thing. We're not going to do the flea market this weekend because I've got some family events going on that I have to be at. So that's the game plan. I'm going to start off by showing you two items that have already sold overnight, and one of them is this right here. I have talked about before selling Halloween costumes, and this is a really cool one here. I actually have two of these. It's the Evil Queen. The interesting thing about this, I don't normally get returns, and you have to be careful when you are selling clothing because you will have an increased chance of returns. Well, this one actually was returned to me because the person said that the zipper just kept opening whenever she put it on. Well, turns out that that's actually not true when I got it back. And I thought that was weird because it is new in package unless there was a manufacturing defect. But turns out there's absolutely nothing wrong with the zipper. We zipped it up and down just fine. I even had Mrs. Primetime, my wife, take a look at it because I wanted to just make 100% sure I wasn't just making a mistake. Was there any way that, you know, a woman would look at this differently than a guy would in terms of zipping this thing up and down? And she's like, nope, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. This was just a fake return in the sense that the person just probably, you know, once they put it on, they just said, yeah, you know what, I don't want this. So they just kind of changed their mind and sent it back. So I disputed the return with eBay and just let them know that there's absolutely nothing wrong with this zipper, and relisted it and literally sold for $40 within a few hours of putting it back up. So this one will just go right back out, and hopefully I'm not going to be out anything on the other return. I should hear something today on it, so we will see if eBay will side with me, who has over 2,000 feedbacks and have 100% positive feedback, or the person who had originally purchased that one and returned it, who has a whopping 9 feedbacks. So we'll see what happens with that. Now the other one that's sold that was really exciting, you're going to remember this from the poster haul that I did. I haven't put all those posters up. I have sold select ones to people who have asked me about them. So thanks to all of you who have asked about the posters. I've posted a few other ones up as well, including this one, which is Poodle with a Mohawk. Now, if you are from Seattle and you grew up in the 1980s, you may have seen this cool poster around. I think it's really neat. I mean, people who like poodles like having this up. It's actually based on a book called Big Ideas, which you could see on the bottom, and the author of it is Linda Barry. And it really was popular. One of the things you have to look at here is that it says Real Comet Press on it, and Seattle. If you ever see anything like that, Real Comet Press Seattle, those tend to be very, very popular. These vintage 1980s posters that were hanging around coffee shops and stuff in Seattle. This one, and I remember from that poster haul, I barely paid anything for the posters. This one just sold for $225 for this single poster. That is absolutely insane. So, and there's just so many other posters that I have left from that collection. Just amazing that these things were just all just laying there, just sitting out, ready to be taken. And this is the second day of the estate sale. So if you think that you can't find treasures the second day of an estate sale, not true. You could definitely do so. So this is a great example. So I'm going to pack these up, get them ready to go out today with a couple other packages, and I'll show you anything else that sells during the day. And Mrs. Primetime, by the way, has a furniture pickup. I'm going to give you an update soon on one of her furniture restoration pieces that she just sold on Facebook Marketplace. Someone's coming at 10 o'clock to pick it up, so that'll be a little bit later. I'll show you that. Okay, so I have another sale to show you. This is a comic book. Now, for those of you brand new to my channel, I do specialize in comic books, but sell all sorts of other items that are vintage and collectible. This one here, I have talked about it before. It is Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose. It is a great series, and it is a great title to look for, especially if you could find them in bulk. A lot of times you will find limited editions, variant editions. So this one is a variant cover. It means it's not the standard cover that came out. And on the back of it, which I cannot show you because there is nudity on it, it is a signed lithograph by the author of this and the artist, Jim Ballant. So these are really collectible for people. I wind up selling these in the adult section of eBay for $10, so $9.99. They're worth more than that, and I would be able to sell them for more if I had them in the regular section of eBay like I used to. Well, why don't I have them in the regular section of eBay anymore? The reason is because, as you could see a little bit on this cover, but others are more risque, the author and the artist of this, Jim Ballant, when he makes these covers, he basically does not show nudity on it, but he does everything possible to go right up to the line. And problem is that eBay's filters, when they go through and they look for things that could potentially be inappropriate, they flag something like this and then they remove it, and then they send you an email that says do not list an item like this again in our main listing section, because they don't want kids to get it. And really, if inside the book there is nudity, they really don't want you selling that as well to potentially minors on the main eBay site. So they want you taking an item like this away and putting it in the adult section. Now, some of you don't know that there is an adult section of eBay, but there is. You have to go specifically look for it. It's a bit challenging to find, and it's tricky to search in it. And because of that, items that are in there often sell for much less compared to if they were in the regular eBay section. So I have a bunch of other Tarot Witch of the Black Roses there with signed lithographs by Jim Ballant for $9.99. It really is a good price if anyone's interested. The link to my eBay store is down below in the description section. But I'm really more pointing this out to you to let you know that, one, sometimes you're going to have to put things in the adult section, the adult only section. And two, just because other people have this item in the main section of eBay, that doesn't mean it's going to be okay for you to list it there. You just have to focus on what's going on with you. And while I do have a lot of other Tarot Witch of the Black Rose comic books, I am not going to put them in the main section of eBay because there's no one item or one type of item that is worth me losing my entire eBay account. And that's one of the main ways people get in trouble with eBay, is they relist something or they do something again a second time that eBay told them not to do the first time. And a lot of that has to do with listings. So be very careful about that. If you got a warning, eBay's nice enough to give you a warning, but if they give you a warning, do not go back and do something opposite of that warning. But thank you, Melanie, who purchased this. Melanie is from my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. Today we have our monthly seller supporting seller-thon. And for those of you unfamiliar with that, what I've done this month to change things around is that the top 10 most interactive people in the Facebook group, which I post at the end of every month or the beginning of every new month, those people have their store links or their eBay links or their Poshmark closets linked in the main part of a post. And then I have my link as the administrator, and I also have the links to the moderators of my channel. And if you make a purchase, you get to add your link to the comment section, and then people are just kind of buying from each other throughout the day. And I actually extended this another day, so we're going into the weekend. We're going to do it Friday and Saturday. So if it sounds interesting to you, I know you're going to have probably passed and missed this one if you're brand new to all of this, but come on by, join the group. The link is down below, and you could take part in the next one. So just want to pass that on to you, and it's just another mechanism, another way to kind of generate some sales in a fun way. All right, moving on. Why, good morning, Daisy. It's 6:20. It's still dark outside. This is your morning face. I don't usually show this. But are we gonna make more sales today? You gonna help me out? Any more funny moments you're gonna give? Oh, all right. Well, let's go do some more things, all right? So Daisy does like to go on her morning fall strolls with an 80s denims jean jacket on. All right, we've got Mrs. Primetime running the video camera here. We have two pieces of hers we are going to show off. This one right here, you may remember from way back, I did a haul video and I showed that I picked up a pink table. We peeled off all the pink that was on top and there was something that looked like a football field underneath it that someone had painted. We debated on what to do with it, to sell it as is or restore it and bring it into a nice new modern color, and that's what she decided to do with this teal paint again. So she sanded it down. There's two leaves here. Again, picked it up for free. Someone is coming in an hour to pick this up off of Facebook Marketplace for $75. So the only thing she has really invested into this is time, but it's a fun project for her on the side. She enjoys doing it. This one here she picked up for $10 and she has it listed for $45 on Facebook Marketplace. Now that might not sound like a big profit, but you have to remember she also went out and she picked up that day the $10, it was a $5 to $10 Snoopy piano collectible. It had Woodstock on it and it's a music box and it plays a song and then they move around the top of the piano. Well, we've got that listed right now on eBay for $95 with two watchers and it should sell between $75 and $95. So the combination of these two pieces are going to be pretty nice. I want to show you what she did up top here. She laid a piece of fabric on top of it like this just to give it a little more pizzazz, and you know, I think that's a nice selling point for it. So she's going to use some other colors besides the teal. I know her last project was with the teal. She's been using the Oops paint that you could pick up at places like Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, that type of stuff. We're going to show you later how she does the chalk paint, but I want to point this out to you because these are additional things you could do with reselling. It's more than just selling paper products and collectibles on eBay. You could do this stuff, pick up things for free, pay $5, $10 for furniture, and then you could flip it for a nice profit. So we'll show some other colors on some other projects and we'll be back with the chalk paint instructions a little bit later. Okay, so here's a little tip for you for displaying things. If you want to get that white background, one thing you could do is just put a whiteboard right on the bottom, have a whiteboard flush right on the back, and I like to put a little display case right here so that I could put things like little collectibles. Like this is actually a salt and pepper shaker. It's pretty cool. You turn it like this and the salt and pepper things move around and come out. So that's pretty neat. And the cool thing is when you zoom in for your picture like this, you know, you can really get it nice and close, nice and uptight. And then you could filter it out in the background by using a program like Photo Fuse and just really make it look nice and bright. That's how I do that. I really recommend this approach also for things like figures that you want to display. You remember me getting these in the haul video, so they really show much nicer compared to if you just had them down on the you know, right on the table, like flush like that. It's not elevated, so it doesn't give it as good of a look. This gives it a much better look, and I feel they display better and they show better and helps make the sale. I do have this light overhead, which is kind of annoying. It's not the ideal light, but I just move it around when I take my pictures like this. So I'm lucky that I even have a light right now. There are 9,000 people who just lost power. We lost it for a little bit. And what was I gonna do if the power went out for the day? Because there are some people where it's gonna be out for quite a while. You gotta improvise. So I'll show you what I would have done if that happened. So even if the power had all died, that wouldn't change that we still have sunshine outside. And so what I would have done is I would have just laid out a bunch of posters here and I would have taken pictures of photos for later in the day when the power would go back on. So you just got to improvise, roll with the punches. You never know what is going to happen during your day to screw up all of your plans. All right, it's just going to be one of those days, folks. We had a power outage for 20 minutes. Now, the good news about it is it was only 20 minutes. There's some people where this is going to last a lot longer. But for what I want to do today, which is get listings up on eBay, the problem that I have is that while I have power, eBay has a service disruption for listings and printing out labels. Now, fortunately, all my labels are printed out for items that need to go out today, but I can't do any listings. Anytime you try to upload an image, it just shows that it's an error. And it does that for every single time you try to do it. No matter what type of listing you try to put up, no matter what browser, no matter restarting your computer, it's all on eBay's end. There's nothing you can do. So we've got to do something that's not related to listings right now. Check in later and make the most productive use of the day. Let's go check in on what Mrs. Primetime is doing, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do from here. All right, so Mrs. Primetime is sanding away there in the background on another project. And this is a TV stand that we got for free on Facebook Marketplace. I went up there myself with her, and we both carried it down a flight of stairs. This is, oh, sorry, not Facebook Marketplace. She said it was Craigslist. I have a hard time keeping track. There's so many pieces of furniture we go out and get. But you can see she started sanding it down. That's why you see all this white stuff here. And, you know, she's in the process of restoring it. She's taking the doors off. She said that's, you know, something you definitely have to do to get access to all those parts. There's some shelves back here. So nothing into it, again, except time and whatever, you know, supplies we have, you know, around. We don't spend much on anyway to, like, you know, stain it or whatever she has planned for it. Okay, so this is how to make the chalk paint. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that Mrs. Primetime wants me to let you know that she is not an expert, but this is what she has done that has worked for her, and you've seen some of the finished outcomes on some of her products. So this is a regular gallon of paint. Now, I've said before, it's called Oops Paint because they made it by accident. She got it right when they made the mistake, but you could just go check, ask if they have it. She got it for $9. This would normally cost around $30+. She got it at Lowe's. It's a nice gray color. And she's gonna mix it with chalk, which is basically just calcium carbonate. And right here, she wrote the little formula here that you need to know. So for every 1 cup of latex paint, you need 2 tablespoons of calcium carbonate. Now that cost $5, that's it. And I think she wound up getting that on Amazon, right? Yep, Amazon. Then 1 tablespoon of water. Now, you're gonna wanna walk around with something a little more than just 1 cup. So you see here how she just has this already pre-made for 3 cups. So in that, she's gonna mix 6 tablespoons of the calcium carbonate and 3 tablespoons of water. So she already has that all set up. So we'll just show you the mixing thing real quick, and then that'll be it for that. It's really simple. All right, so here we go. We're just gonna put the water inside of the chalk right there. So just mix that up together. There we go. Mixy, mixy. All right, so there's your mixture right there. And then you just gotta combine them both together and then mix that up. A couple things to tell you about if you're wondering why you do this in terms of using chalk paint as opposed to, you know, a regular type of paint. It really is used for adhering to the surface better. So you're not gonna need to use any kind of primer or anything like that. It'll just go right on there and it'll stick really well. So, you know, so a lot of people like it. It's kind of in style right now. And afterwards, after you do it, now you do have to clean it beforehand, just make sure you do that. But afterwards, you do have to make sure you put a finishing wax on top of it. So that's important as well. But it's pretty basic, it's pretty simple. This stuff will last you a while and get you through tons of projects for not a lot of money. So if you want to try to chalk paint, it's very popular and that's the way to do it. So thank you very much, Mrs. Primetime. Very, very important point here. Miss Primetime just told me to make sure I told you. So remember, this cost us $9, okay? This cost us $5. If you went into the store to buy chalk paint, to buy this much chalk paint, it's gonna cost you around $20 just to buy this amount. And she's gonna be able to make a ton of it with using this Oops paint and then buying the calcium carbonate. So it really pays to just make it yourself. You save a lot of money and it really help you with your reselling business if you want to start taking on furniture projects. Okay, well, we still have a service outage on eBay. It's 12:30, and so I am looking for some other things to do that do not require electricity and do not require eBay functioning properly right now. And one of the things is item prep. You could always do some item prep. And these are some comic books that I am going to list next. It's a stack of 54 Captain America comic books. You could see here we started issue number 154, and they are mostly consecutive, and they just keep going into the low 200s, and there's one annual issue here. So what I like to do is I like to put these in bags and boards to protect them. And so this is your bag and board right there. So it's just gonna go right inside that sleeve and then close it with a piece of tape. If you don't wanna use tape, there's more expensive bags you could buy that are self-adhesive, and so you just press it down and it sticks. But people have asked me what company that I suggest for comic book bags and boards, and I always suggest BCW. This is what it's gonna look like. These are Silver Age comic book bags, and these are Silver Age comic book boards. So they're a little bit bigger, a little bit wider than your what they call current or modern comic books. Some people even put the current and modern comic books inside a regular silver bag and board because it gives it a little bit more space. So I'm gonna do all of those, put them all in there, and just multitask. Like have maybe some YouTube videos going on in the background and get this done. And this way, once eBay is back and functioning, all I have to do is lay these out and they'll all be ready to list. So, you can't just sit back and do nothing. You've got to keep the day productive. All right, now as you can see here, they're all bagged and boarded. So this is great. It's gonna help them display better. It's gonna protect them better when I ship them as well. It also makes it more appealing for people to make the purchase because now they know they don't have to go out and get bags and boards for them. I will put links to these in the description section as well as links to different sizes. There's bigger sizes, smaller sizes, so you'll see all that in the description section. And with regards to eBay, we still have this problem here. As you can see, it is just not allowing me to upload any images. It's an internal error. And for those of you who don't know, you can go over to what is called their status page, and it will tell you what the status is with regards to different functions on eBay. So, here you can see you cannot list. There's a service disruption. It really is functioning like an outage because you just can't do it. Shipping, label printing, you can't do that either. Now, if you have a shipping label printing problem on eBay, there's workarounds for that. That you could go to the USPS website. You could technically always go to the post office. You're going to pay more of a rate there. Or you could go through Pirate Ship or some other third-party places like stamps.com. There's other places where you could go to get postage and pay for things online. But with regards to this right here, listing, I mean, you're just out of luck. You just cannot list it if eBay's servers are down and there is a service disruption. So next thing I'm going to do once I go for a DoDash and get some lunch is I'm going to take photographs of this. So that's another thing I could do. I could do photography. So when this all gets back online, I could just go right in and start pumping out listings. Don't sit around and do nothing. Hey, a little tip here. You see I have this little canister with some bottle caps inside, mostly green ones from my Mountain Dew bottles. But hold on to these. If you could get solid color bottle caps like this, the plastic ones, crafters love these things. And you could sell about 50 of them for 17 bucks on eBay. So it's a lot better than just tossing it out in the garbage. Just put it in the side. Once you get 50, list them, and then just go on to the next ones. All right, well, another thing I could do when eBay is down is I go to the gas station and prepare for tomorrow when I plan on going out treasure hunting with you guys and taking you along. So you want to get prepared ahead of time. So that means making sure you go to the bank, make sure you fill up with gas because I'm pretty close to empty. And, just try to get that stuff done along the way. If you got other things that you're, doing, going into town, getting something to drink, getting something to eat, that kind of thing. Try to get it all done the day before you go out for your sale so you're not wasting time. That 5 minutes that you spend at the gas station could be the 5 minutes that you could have got that big score that someone else got in front of you for. So try not to waste time on the day you're going out sourcing. Get all that stuff done ahead of time. All right, so you can see here I have the comics laid out. It's actually 53, not 54, but regardless, one of the things I want to point out here, I've talked about the layout before, so it's not really that, but You see, when I take the overhead picture, it's gonna look like this. I'll crop it a little bit, but you'll notice that I cleared things out around, okay? No one wants to see the chair. No one wants to see, you know, the basketball. No one wants to see the book bags hanging off the banister here. No one wants to see any of that stuff. No one wants to see this. No one wants to see your foot in the listing. No one wants to see that stuff. They just want a nice, clear, crisp overhead picture. So aim for that. Get rid of distracting things in the background. Now our mail lady just came to do the pickup, which is awesome. And she's really cool because she gives Daisy treats. And Daisy, as you can see here, she really tries to get those treats. They're right here. And they're courtesy of the mail lady every day. So Daisy goes nuts until I go out there or Mrs. Primetime goes out there to get those for her. So we'll get her some treats. Leaves them for her every day. Daisy, don't worry, I'll get you them. So here they are right here. I mean, these look pretty good. I don't know, I might eat a couple of these. These are pretty big for a Shih Tzu. What do you say, fellas? I mean, it's looking pretty tasty right about now. You want some treats? You want some treats? We just got to break them up into little pieces for her. So then she'll eat them that way. So you don't want her to choke. Enjoy. Good news, it's 2:53 and eBay has finally started working again. So as you can see here, I'm able to upload images. So there's that television salt and pepper shaker that I'm gonna get up. I've got all my comics photographed. They're uploaded onto my computer and all ready to go as well. And so that is why you have to keep going. You can't stop because, you know, the tendency is really to just, you know, get bummed out and be like, all right, eBay's not working. I'm just going to sit around and watch some Netflix, something like that. You can't. You got to keep going because it's going to get fixed eventually. And then when it's fixed, you're all ready and you're good to go. So I figured I would show you this because I talk about this book a lot in other videos and I often get questions about how to grade comic books. And really, you could do a course on the topic, but the quickest way for you to learn is really to get this book, The Guide to Grading Comics. I literally keep it right by my side, so I could always reference it and look to it if I need to. It's good for beginners, and it's also good for people who are experienced. And what it will do is it will take you through all the different grades of comics. You know, there you got a grade 7. It goes all the way up to 10, which is gem mint, which is, you know, perfect, which you rarely ever see something like that. But it will go all the way down to the lowest possible grade. So the cool thing is if we just like go like right in the middle here is it will give you examples of things that are wrong, like book trimming defect at the incorrect angle or slight edge stress that you could see or a blunted corner. These are terms I use in my descriptions all the time to let buyers know what are some of the issues with the book. Corner angle is off by this much. So you could see there how it's cut differently. And then you have other ones over here, like it's off-centered. There's a minor crease. The staple is off-center. You see that right there? It should be flush with the book. So there's all these things that can happen. And if you're not familiar with comics, and you might just think that this staple is not an issue, but that is an issue to collectors. So it also has a little grid here that's cool that I could show you. There's like almost like a table here that goes through all these different categories, and it tells you different things that are allowed or not allowed in each category. And for each main label, for example, fine, there will also be something called fine minus, and there will also be something called fine plus. So you will see that as well. There's all these different gradations. So you could see there's fine minus, and they would also have a fine plus. So that's the basics of it. If you're interested, it doesn't cost a lot. I do have a link to it at the bottom of my description section, along with a bunch of other OVERSTREET guides that I find really, really helpful for me in my collectibles business. And in addition to that, they're also really helpful to just learn items to be on the lookout for. If you're not familiar with some of these things, there's Star Wars ones, there's ones about vintage toys, there's board games, there's all sorts of different ones that will help you learn what to be on the lookout for. Okay, I want to show you something from the inside of a comic book that is pretty interesting from the 1970s. They need to know about if you're going to sell them. And these are called Marvel value stamps. And they were designed for people to collect. So the comic book publishers, wanted people to buy more comics so they could get all of them. And it's a good way for them to get them to buy different titles that they weren't normally getting so that they could collect all the stamps. And they encouraged people to clip them and collect them, which, as you might imagine nowadays, if you have cut that out of the book, it's going to decrease the value. So if you're selling a book that has one of these Marvel value stamps in it, you want to make sure that it's there. So you have to open up and check it. So this one, for example, Captain America number 173 has the value stamp in it. But if we go over here to Captain America number 174 and we open it up, we will see that it is cut out. So you see that? They cut it right out of there. So you have to disclose that. Now, you're probably wondering, how the heck do I know if the comic book has a Marvel value stamp or not? Because all these issues I showed you, they don't all have value stamps in them. Some of them do, some of them do not. That's where you got to go to comicspriceguide.com. And when you search for the comic book, it will tell you if it contains a value stamp and what the value stamp is. So it's a quick, easy way to figure out whether or not it's there, and go in, check, look, and verify. Okay, this is the final video from inside here today. I will do a second video tomorrow after we come back from the treasure hunt and see what Mrs. Primetime has accomplished with this. But this is everything today. So you've seen the beginning phases of it, and we will take it to completion. But this is the initial coat, and as with any initial coat, it's not going to be completely covered, so that's why she'll have to put a second one on. But it's looking good. She's got everything out, and you have to work fast on that first coat. But the second one, it'll be easier because that first one, it dries pretty fast. But looking good, and let's wrap up downstairs with one more item that's sold today. All right, so this is the item that I wanted to show you right here. It's this Mickey Mouse purse/handbag. It's pretty neat because it's got a motorcycle on it. It's got a highway sign on it, all of which makes it pretty collectible. It's got these little beads along the road that are pretty cool. And importantly, it's new with tags. And the original tag on it here had a price of $16. Now, that's not what we paid for it. Mrs. Primetime actually picked this up herself. She sourced it at Goodwill. She does not go out sourcing at thrift stores usually. She just happened to be at one, and she saw it and said, you know what, I'll pick this up for $2.99, which is what she sourced it for. And turns out I sold it on eBay for 25 bucks. She just gives me these things once in a while. She goes, here, see if you could sell this. I picked it up for $2.99. So, I show big priced items that sell, but as I showed you earlier with the $9.99 comic book and this $25 handbag, this is light, go out first class, so it's not going to cost a lot to ship. These things all add up. So when you make that big purchase, that, $200 sale, $300 sale, or $1,000 sale, whatever it is, all these things add up next to it, and the profit just keeps, adding together, and it gets bigger and bigger sums. So don't just think it's all about the big items. It's also about those smaller items too. I think a successful business model can definitely be mixing those bigger and smaller items together with one another, and that's definitely what we do here at Primetime Treasure Headquarters. Now, really the main point of the video today really wound up being adapting and continuing to move in response to things going on around your environment that would tend to slow you down. So not being able to list was a problem when that was my plan for the day. So you could have a plan, right? We talk about plans and writing things out and having schedules and all that stuff. The problem with all that is, what if something happens to throw a total wrinkle in it? How do you flex and adapt to it? And again, I think the main point, I've said this over and over, but is to keep moving. That is the key. I've said that in other videos as well. So no matter what happens, you just got to keep telling yourself, I got to find a way around it. I've got to find a way to adapt. If I get knocked down, I've got to find a way to get myself back up. And this goes for small things. It goes for big things too. So if there's an economic recession that takes place, guess what? You don't partake in it. You find a way that you're going to carve a niche for yourself that you're going to find a way to make money within it. You know, no matter what happens, if there's some kind of new rule on eBay or Mercari or Etsy, you don't like the free shipping that just came up on Etsy, again, you've got to find a way around it. So that's the key. That's the key to being successful. These challenges are going to continuously present themselves every day, every week, all the time. They're always coming at you, and just be able to flex and adapt. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. We're going to do another one tomorrow when we go out hunting for treasures, garage sales, estate sales, all sorts of stuff. Who knows what we're going to find. But I'll take you along for the ride as usual and show you, again, the progress with Mrs. Primetime. So if you like the video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, pass it on to anyone else who you think would enjoy the content. And make sure you come to the Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. I thought maybe I'd do a combined video in the beginning, but since this is up, you still have a chance to come join our Sellers-thon. So the Seller Supporting Seller-thon, it's also going on Saturday. So there's going to be a lot more sales, and you could take part in it as well. So just come on by. Links down below, as well as the links to some of the other products that I showed. They are Amazon affiliate links. I do make a small commission, which does help to continue to support this channel and the content. So thanks so much for anyone who supports this channel by clicking on any of those links, or also by providing super chats. I really do appreciate it. And lastly, follow me on Instagram. That's at prime_time_treasure. See you back at the next video, everyone. Take care.